Well, okay. I mean, this should be a very close match. I thought the London Royal Ravens played Atlanta FaZe very tough, and for Chicago, I mean, honestly, since they won the London home series, their games, their matches overall have been pretty tight. So teams are confident playing against them right now. And I think London, now I talk about it, probably looking for revenge from that London home series.
You would think so. You would think so. And I got a question for you, because I tweeted this out before we hop to the game fuel keys to victory. I just have a question for you. Do you think that this 5-man roster for the Huntsmen, that life hangs in the balance on this particular matchup?
No, I don't think so. I don't think that that's the case. I think that they're in like a transition period. We saw them changing roles at the last tournament, trying to figure out, how to get to that next level. And right now, I feel like the mistakes they're making are actually sort of minor. Like yesterday, we saw them. They're starting off on the back foot in these hard points, especially in that New York match. And they're letting players like Zuma was getting behind them. They weren't accounting for players like attached, players pushed up. They're not checking the typical spots people are going to be in, and they're letting people go on streaks, and they're just playing from behind in these hard points. So like, I think that it's minor mistakes that they're making. I think the talent's there, and you heard RCD say it, like they need to become better friends. That way they can overcome their actual problems. So I'll be looking for that.
See if they can do it. But let's get to the
come.
game fuel keys to victory. I think we're going to take a look at the Huntsmen first as we get ready for this best of 5 matchup. It's our 4th match of the day. We still have 2 more to follow this, but I think Nameless, it's your job to come up with these leading into the event, kind of some of these keys to victory and your thoughts on both sides. So take us through this.
Yeah, this will be the first time I get to actually do them this event, so let's talk about it. Yeah, Chicago. So I was thinking of like a short-term fix because they need to get a win here in their home series. And, they lost 2 search and destroys yesterday, so I think they go back, they talk about it, and they figure out how to win it against London. And basically, if you avoid Weskin's sniper, you're in a good position when you play the Royal Ravens. So I think if they don't get picked, they're all right. We see typically Chicago plays a spread in search and destroy, and when they lose, it's because a player is getting picked, and when they win, it's because a player like Envoy or Scump is going big with a multi-kill. So if they avoid that sniper and play together, they should be fine.
The Huntsmen on the other side of this for the London Royal Ravens. What are your game fuel keys to victory there, Ant?
Well, we just talked about how they're playing on the back foot a lot in these hard points. So if they can expose Chicago's weakness in hard point by prioritizing rotation and start strong early, Chicago has a lot of trouble coming back in these games. So I think if they just start very strong, they'll be okay in this series.
Keys to victory for both sides. They're like a big one for you, like something really stands out that you think is key maybe for the Huntsmen to take this series.
For Huntsman, I think he's absolutely right. Their search and destroy has to be better. We saw it last home series, a couple weekends ago, and I think it was both Scump and Formal were 2 of the bottom players in search and destroy. When you look at their success this year at the London home series, Scump was one of the better search and destroy players, if not the best, at that event. So big for him. On the other side for London, it is absolutely time to start talking about Dylan and Jerd. These 2 absolutely need to perform better. You look at what they were putting up numbers wise yesterday, just purely unacceptable. And I think you sort of talked about it, Clinton, where Dylan, we just have to see more from him. And this could be the series to do so.
One of the more disappointing players this year. He really has to turn it around. As we look through the quick scope, obviously the numbers really stand out for the Huntsmen because they have a tournament win, and we know they haven't lost many series, specifically on LAN. For the London Royal Ravens, the map count's pretty close. I mean, they're close to a 50-50. They've lost some tough series. They've lost some close series, but it feels like they're small improvements away from being able to take down some of the big dogs, and maybe Dylan improving is really going to be all they need for that to be the case. But now let's take a look at the maps and modes presented by U.S. Air Force as we get ready to look at how we're going to go through this best of 5 between these 2 teams. And for me, it's all just interesting because had I seen this matchup a month ago, a couple weeks ago, you think this is probably a comfortable Huntsman win, but now I just don't know, man.
Yeah, I mean, it's tough. Like, this is the series I was waiting for all day long. I'm actually, I think London actually might take this one. Like yesterday when we saw them play FaZe, they looked pretty good, right? Like FaZe had to outslay them by breaking records to beat them in that hard point. And despite that, they were still very close. I think that having Shawnee on this team is actually really good for the Royal Ravens just because he is that player who's comfortable being a flex and allows Weskin to be that main AR. So I think it just makes everybody more comfortable. And I think Royal Ravens are just going to get better and better as time goes on. So I would not be surprised if they come out here
this
and
could
just
be a,
beat
this
the
could
crap
be
out
a
of
big
Chicago.
win for them, but Chicago have a lot to get done after a disappointing start to this weekend. And I want to meet the lineup. This is some of the biggest, brightest, and most talented players in the game. These are your Chicago Huntsmen. He's going to get caught, but they line up for Scup, and Scup, the king.
This is dangerous. 10 in a row.
Gunless keeps on rolling. 9. Formal hits the shot.
Octane doesn't have to move. He goes, oh my lord!
That's a look at the roster. And what was interesting when I took a look at the stats from yesterday, it was a lot different than maybe you would say their problems a couple weeks ago, where I know Formal didn't have a great event, but it was just sort of one person struggling in each game mode they lost. Like, you think about the map 1, I think Envoy wins something like 13 and 29. You take a look at the map 5, it's 3 and 9 from Arcades. It's just like each map, somebody was having a tough time. And when these guys are at their best, I think it's usually when they're all performing pretty consistently, and then maybe Envoy's got a couple heroic plays up his sleeves, but it just seems like they couldn't all click yesterday, Joe.
Yeah, I mean, to me, that just sort of says, like, maybe with all the role switching, somebody's uncomfortable, just depending on the map. And sometimes that can happen, right? When you're switching those roles all the time, those players have to adjust, because when someone gets into a new role, they play a little bit different than the last guy. So maybe it's just those adjustments going back and forth that has, guys a little bit scattered.
And on the other side, for the Royal Ravens roster, and I know it's only been one series, but any thoughts about rated out Shawnee in so far?
I like it. I think the change makes total sense. I think having Rated and Weskin on a team was just terrible from the get-go. Having Shawnee on this team now, I've always liked Shawnee. You guys both know that. I always rooted for Shawnee. I think he's a great flex player. And having him on this team, I think it's going to allow them to just play a lot faster. It's going to make everybody more comfortable, and they're just going to get way better at respawn as time goes on. I think it was a perfect and easy switch,
and
I like them in the series.
The top team in the game, and they played them very tough, but now it is Petrel map 1. It is underway. The talk of the town usually on this map, Joe, when we watch them, it's Envoy for Huntsman. He is a playmaker on this particular map. You got to think there's some pressure on him to perform, but it's a two-piece from Formal's frag grenade to start it off.
Yeah, nice start for Formal. Envoy, great start overall for the Chicago Huntsmen. Yeah, this is what you want. Envoy continues to go on through as a nice start for them, and I think this is exactly what you want. I was just taking a look at the map records. Both teams one-on-one on this map, and honestly, those maps and modes, a lot of strong maps for both of these teams. So, I mean, going to be a great series across the board.
It should be, especially if we get the Royal Ravens we saw yesterday. But the kill feed, predominantly green, is lots of kills coming through for Huntsman, and that continues after a lovely double for Envoy. As he tracks through the smoke, we'll hop out to the third-person POV and see where they're headed for the next rotation. 15 seconds remain, but this has been a flawless opening hold on the Hardpoint. It's 48-0. You don't see many starts like that on an opening Hardpoint, especially on Petro.
No, Jerd, though, was able to make a play. He went all the way around, snuck through it, got the spawns about 10 seconds ago for his team, but then all of his teammates went down again. I mean, you have RC's 4-0, Envoy, on a 10? They're on a 10 spree together. Envoy is going off. You talked about his map 1 yesterday. He's turning up here. An 11-1 start for Envoy, and the guy just loves this map, Maven.
Something about it clicks, man. It's Saint Envoy. Like, he just gets here and tries. 11-2 to kick it off, and then we go right over to Arcades as he was 6-0, but there the streak will drop. But it's 80-0. Like, we just commentated a blowout on this. The Subliners just pummeled and beat the living hell out of FaZe Clan. But what a start this is. When are we going to see the first point for the Royal Ravens?
I mean, this, like you said, typically around those cargo crates, that first hill, usually you see sometime contested. I understand, though, like when you combine a 1-2, this could happen. I mean, we haven't seen it to this level, but it can happen. Now it's London's turn. You're going to rotate over towards Hazmat. This has to be a good hold for them. They're able to find the first 3 kills. Jerd's going to get inside. Scraps and Shawnee are locking down the middle of the map.
Do you think yesterday was a different type of wake-up call for Huntsman in the sense of maybe they thought it was like a matchup thing with Florida, right? Like they lost to them twice, but then
Sure.
they lost to a different team, and it's like, all right, what the hell's going on?
It could have been. I think any loss for them is a bit of a wake-up call, right? I don't know what exactly it is, but it just feels like old OpTic Gaming teams, like they would win that first event. They wanted to prove to the world that they were the best, and then things just sort of slowed down for them. You know, just take a look at them last year. So yeah, I feel that. Yeah, every single loss is a bit of a, hey, we got to refocus. We got to change some things up.
Well, speaking of refocusing, the Ravens seem to be focusing up a bit as they finally get some points onto the board. They'll try to scrape, claw, and bite their way back into this as they were just destroyed early in it. Envoy already has 15 kills, but it's Scrap now.
Well, Scrap's right there, yeah.
14 and 8. Scrap's doing what he can to match Envoy on the other side of it. The streak will continue. 6 in a row now as they've gotten 48 points up on the board, and Scraps will be the entry as they move forward to try to get into this next hardpoint. Can he keep the streak going?
Yeah, they got their response. They had a great hold at Hazmat. Now can they break Pool Hall? Scraps, his twin brother Waskin right beside him. They're able to find 2 kills. Gunless inside. He gets traded out, and it looks like they'll at least be here for some contested time. Scraps with the hot hand right now, 8 in a row. Doing everything he can to keep his team in it. This is one of the guys I wanted to see more from for the London Royal Ravens. When you play these top teams, you need your superstars to have great performances. We're getting it here from Scraps. Can someone else help him out?
Scraps finally drops. The guy that picked up most of the kills inside there then for him was Jerd. Jerd with the triple gets the job done. With so much of that contested that they don't really find any points throughout. They get like, what did I say, 48 as they were rallying over. They get 3 points, but at least contest some of that time to make sure Huntsman can't push out to any bigger of a lead. Now over to Restaurant we go. Dylan shot a little bit off, but he's able to finish the kill before Scump destroys him. Then his hip fire is good for RC. He's coming in the front door. Dylan, you've got to be a monster. We need to see mirrors of what we saw last year. No better time to step it up than now against the Chicago Huntsmen.
Hey, you talk about Pool Hall. They only get 3 points, but they only gave Chicago 20. So it was a good job getting in that hill. Now over to Restaurant early on. They're able to earn some points. Now it's Shawnee's turn as he's going to hit 3 times multi-kill. Scrap's able to get pushed out. You see number 9, that's Jerd, already on the rotation over towards that first hill where we're about to head back to next. But he gets taken down by guess who? It's Envoy. We know how good he is at rotating on this map. So he's going to get into a good spot as Jerd, his teammate, takes him down. But I mean, you talk about the 100-0 start. They're able to bring it back within 30.
And I think one thing you might feel okay about, who has been the single most important force, or sorry, consistent force in slaying for the Royal Ravens? It's been Waskin. There's no conversation. It has been Waskin. And he's like 5-10, 5-11, and they're still in this game. I mean, he has not started out hot, but you got to think with just how consistent he's been, that he'll pick it up over the course of this map. And if he starts to, is that when maybe they can take control of this, but he's got to get it going soon.
I think this is maybe one of the few hardpoint maps, though, where that AR is such a tough role.
It's true. It's true.
Because you're either rotating and you're in a decent position, but you're not going to have as many engagements as your subs. But if you constantly get out rotated, think about going into some of these hills as an AR. So this is definitely one of the, I feel like, the least impacted maps with the assault rifle.
And basically every single rotation or every single lane, there's just so much, I don't want to say clutter, but so many objects that you can kind of close the gap, right? And get into a closer position with a sub, which just, I'm sure makes it even more difficult. But look at the scoreline now, Joe. The 7-point game as the new hard point pops. Nice control for Huntsman as Envoy picks up 2 yet again. Scump now trying to rally in on the cross as Royal Ravens looking for any kind of opening. They've done their job to bring it to nearly a tie. They can't let Huntsman run away with it again.
Yeah, I thought they had a chance to get in there right through the front. The smokes were going down. Waskin's nades over. His brother's inside. Scraps on the hill. Waskin, that you talked about him, able to find 2, but Formal shuts him down. So they had a chance with about, 25 seconds to get in and break that hill. And they go one more push. But they have to be careful, and that's why you see number 6 and Scraps all the way on that rotation towards Hazmat. Hazmat on that first rotation where they are able to earn a lot of time and get right back into the game.
Yeah, even though that 7-point deficit has been pushed out a bit, I think you still feel all right, considering it was 80-0 at one point. And for Hazmat, Can they look stronger here? The rest of the team basically fanned out across
look
mid-map.
at where Chicago is right now. I mean, literally, Chicago may not touch the hill until about 40 seconds. They might throw one push at this, 1 to 2, and have someone rotate the pool hall because, I mean, London just had so much mid-map control. They were cutting off the pushes, staggering what they had. Gunless and Envoy finally get over here with about 35 left in the hill.
What's crazy, though, is they won it pretty clean at mid, too. They had about 4 kills in a row there. Like, they did the first step so fast, but as you said, the early position from London and how deep Huntsmen were, it took forever to rally over.
That's it. We may have a lead change here. I mean, I don't think Huntsmen go after this. They try to do the same thing that London did to them. Get kills mid-map, have them spawn deep behind Hazmat and get a good hold at pool hall. Have to get the kills, though, mid-map, as you're going to see. Some of the London players spawn near this shipping area.
Lead now, the Royal Ravens. Huntsmen, though, doing a good job inside. 3 kills go the way of Royal Ravens. They know they have the numbers at least for a moment. They go to soar on in. Can the trades go into their favor? Not going to happen. As Arcades gets a double, Ravens spawn out again. They'll take their second crack at it.
Yeah, you see Scraps trying to control top blue. Gunless is up here, though, and I mean, London's just trying to fight for that mid-courtyard so they can hit the side door. Chicago doing a good job, but here comes Dylan. He's able to find 2. Arcades inside, doing a good job. And with that, it looks like Dylan, as he finds 4 kills, is able to get in.
Similar to the first time through. Maybe not a ton of time, but they can test a lot of it, right? They make sure Huntsman can't go off. Jerd then takes down 3. Jerd and Dylan, the SMGs on this team, go big inside a pool hall. And now everyone vying for control inside a restaurant. I think the first Huntsman player inside will be Envoy. He's going to get caught. Royal Ravens will now have a chance to set up, down 5 points. They probably won't win it here, but technically they can. Now Huntsman's next wave will come in. Gunless stunned at the back door.
Right? Like, when they break through front of pool hall, you keep Chicago away from restaurants, so they're winning rotation and getting some of that time. Their pool hall breaks have kept them in this game. I think if Chicago has 1, maybe 2 of the cleaner pool hall holds that we've seen, the game's over.
Well, yeah, just compare.
Now Envoy just trying to play his life.
Just compare the Royal Ravens hold at Hazmat to what they do at pool hall.
Exactly.
Completely different story. Lead change yet again. Huntsman back in front. 25 points needed for Huntsman to take this down. Neither team can win here with only 10 seconds left. As you take a look at the minimap, look at the bottom side of it. All 5 of those white arrows fanned out around the cargo containers that are about to pop. And this is where Huntsman did the damage early. They basically put up a full 60 the first time through. Now Ravens' chance to try and close out the game, and what a map it has been from Dylan and Scraps. Scraps is 35 and 16.
35 and 16. Dylan at 38. Finally, we're getting.
Yeah, when have we seen that this year? Like when?
From Dylan. Now on a 5 spree, up to 39 kills. Chicago, they have to go. Envoy, he's going to put the smoke down. Gunless is hitting the other arch. The contest is there. Envoy trying to do what he can. Has the help of Scump. Scump right with him. Can they clutch on up? 7 seconds away are both teams from winning map 1.
Scump and Envoy have killed everyone. They've gotten in, spawning out of Royal Ravens. They're trying to get through. I thought it was contested for just a second, but as they hop out, Chicago Huntsmen close it out, and what a thrilling map 1 it was. Woo! That was a tight one.
I didn't see where Scump got 4 kills, but he found 4 kills to break that hill. I mean, he was not having the best of games throughout the map, but right there he makes the difference.
And Scump, yeah, he ends 23 and 31, but it doesn't matter when you get a triple like that in the desperation moment in the final hard point to close the game. Wow, 7-point victory, probably 10 different lead changes over the course of that. It's crazy to think back that it started out with an 80-0 point victory for Huntsman. They almost let it slip away, but the King goes big in the final moments and they get the W. And that's got to be tough, because if you're think about the 2 hard point losses that you take in map 1 now for London. You play what many would say is the number 1 team in FaZe. Very, very tough. You lose by about 10 points. You get some really good results out of your players. You play what many consider the second best team in the game. Really tough. You finally get Dylan going off. Scraps has a double positive monster game with 90 seconds to Hardpoint. You lose by 7. It's like they're so close to taking this map 1, and we know how important the map 1 is in the scale of the series.
Yeah, it's just that confidence boost as well. I think especially for these guys, right? Especially we know how vibey that they can be. So I mean, and you get what we've been asking for. You get 40 kills from Dylan. You get a superstar performance from Scraps, and it still doesn't turn into a W. Definitely a tough one. I mean, listen, they brought it back. We talked about them being down 100 points, them having to contest 2 pool halls. I mean, it was a heck of a performance, but I mean, it's just a few heroic plays. Scump's able to go big. Envoy right next to him. They close out the game.
Yeah, I know there's a lot of moments you could highlight for them to get back into it, but yeah, it comes down to the beginning of the game. You can't go down 100 at the start of the game.
Yeah.
You just simply can't and expect to come back and win. That's just one of those ones, man. I feel like back-to-back game 1 Hardpoints where it's like you'd almost rather lose by 80 to 100 than have these nail-biting finishes against the top teams in the game. Like, it just has to feel like a gut punch, man. But we will take a look at the scuff play of the game. It's going to be from Envoy, as we know how big he was. A 10 spree at some point during that. In the early going, he was just frying. Envoy is a special talent, Joe.
Yeah, I mean, he started 11-1. He finishes 31-32. So he slowed down drastically, but he's the one that makes the play. And we just talk about him on this map. I don't know. It's his playground. He's just so comfortable on it, able to make the plays. He knows the rotations in and out. It just always feels like he's in the right position at the right time. And, you know, we just talked about it last series that you and I casted with like Temp on Ramaza. Just one of those maps that flows, it fits your play style, and this is his.
I'm hearing we're getting ready to hop into the map 2. One of the keys to victory for Huntsmen was improving in the search and destroy. They needed to be better there. I know if you think back to 2 weeks ago, they were 2-1 in that mode, but it wasn't pretty, right? Like, there were a lot of disappointing results in that. They struggled with it yesterday as well. The search, they've just got to be better. Let's see if they can do it here in the map 2. And it's been interesting because they even saw a comment like after our hard points that was like, why don't you guys spend more time talking about London? Like, you talked about Surge a lot, you talked about Huntsman, like, why haven't you talked about London much? And it almost feels like they've been off our radar. Yes, because they didn't play for 2 months. Like, that's exactly what it is. And, you know, there's no scrims being streamed for them. Like, you don't see a lot of stuff from them. And they sort of just been off the CDL map for what feels like forever, just because of the schedule they had with the break that was already in it. Then the pandemic happens, which delays things even further. It's just this long gap where we haven't seen a lot.
It's also one of those things where, like, you know, we know they have a new roster, but guess what? We haven't seen the new roster perform. So it's really hard to, you know, to judge that book like constantly when, yeah, like you said, you haven't seen them in 8 weeks and they have a new team.
Well, we'll have more thoughts after this weekend, but it'd be tough to even come up with thoughts if they come in and they lose to FaZe in Chicago. It's like, okay, well,
that's a tough group.
Yeah,
that's what I was saying. Like, what are you supposed to say? Yeah. I mean, they play them tough.
Yeah, that's about all you can say. But we're only one map into this one. Wuskin hits the shots. Envoy right between his eyes, but instantly it's Gunless and Arcee's with an answer. Scump gets in the mix as well, and suddenly only 2 players remain for the Royal Ravens.
Yeah, Chicago, they're not going to take the bomb. They're just going to go. They're going to fly at Shawnee. He was basically left in a 1-on-3. Now it's all up to Dylan, who's on the other side of the map, and it's just like, what are you supposed to do? It almost feels like they're playing a different search and destroy where they're just trying to find the players instead of plant the bomb. Bomb being planted now at A tough situation for Dylan.
Oh, he gets a couple bullets into each, but obviously they've got nice points to cover there on the bomb site in the back box, and he can't finish either. But yeah, I think he nailed it. A very, very tough situation for Dylan. And well, Wuskin had the first blood, but instantly, I think it was a grenade kill from Gunless, and I can't remember who else got a kill right alongside him. So the numbers shifted almost instantly back into Huntsman's favor. But you like to see that aggression as they'll now swap over to defense.
And now Gunrunner, I feel like definitely the offensive team has a lot of advantages, so see what London will do. It looks like they're going to go to a very early A hit, but it looks like Gunless all the way in the back just playing his life right now. Did Dylan spot him? He has dead silence. He's going to use it. He's going to find that first blood.
Don't often see a ton of action towards this A site. But we're seeing a lot right now. It'll be Jordan with bomb in hand, just looking to make a decision. But Shawnee is going to get caught at the back steps as Envoy peeks through that minecart path. And this is similar to what we saw last time, where it's like first blood for Royal Ravens, numbers to Chicago instantly. Thankfully, this time around, the Ravens were able to answer back and take the odds back. Now it's going to be a 2v2. RC's and Scump up against Jordan Wuskin. And everyone's pretty split. Looks like the Huntsman players trying to rally back together. Pressure still on Royal Ravens to get this bomb down with 30 seconds to go.
Yeah, I mean, the London setup at A was kind of weird. You had two players watching the flank, so there was the opening through pipes. That's where Chicago made the play. Now in the 2v2, RC's finds one. It's all up to Wuskin. You see in the bottom right, no dead silence for my man. He's going to have to check the bomb sooner or later. 7.5 seconds to defuse. RC's playing it slow. Scump playing it slow as well. They're just trying to make him peek. He's playing this well. I mean, they are not on it yet, and he knows it. But Scump, you know, find him inside the container. Plenty of time for the defuse.
Scump with the nice read. And yeah, Wuskin, I mean, God, he might have been able to wait 10 more seconds. It felt like they just weren't going to hop it. They were waiting for him to push, and Scump reads it well. But Wuskin let, what, 20 or 25 seconds kind of bleed off that clock. He wins that first gunfight against Scump, and this gets crazy. I think Scump hurt him just by the way he reacts there.
Yeah, it's almost one of those situations, too, where it's such a 50-50 where Wuskin can just sort of play the time all the way down to like 10-15 seconds. Maybe gets a lucky timing, but yeah, tough situation when the bomb is planted on the opposite side of that crate.
I mean, it's just a huge gamble if you're going to wait that long, right? RC started out, what, 6-7-0 in the game one, 3-0. Kick off this map, too. They peek A for a moment, keep the players there for Ravens honest, and now they'll wrap back. Scump has gotten into
I like that,
room.
though, from both teams, right? Both teams showing some presence towards A, so neither of these teams can work the flank. And hello, Shawnee? That's RC's. RC's, he's going to find Wuskin as well as he gets pushed up.
Whew.
That should open up the sight for Chicago.
Oh, yeah, it opened it up like a can of beans, Joe.
Yeah, can of beans.
Massive number advantage again for Chicago, and they'll be able to close it out. Some quick rounds. And yeah, I mean, we're pointing out the A push just because, yeah, I mean, you'll see it in certain matchups. But we've had matchups you and I have casted where literally A hasn't been touched, right? It's been just like 10-11 hits towards B. And then
so hard to defend B. I mean, it just is, right? Because the bomb is facing the offensive side of the map, and so it's just like, what are you supposed to do? So we'll see a lot of defensive teams just try to take mid-map. You try to flank fast.
Yeah, well, it's just the opposite.
It's such an easy bomb to go to.
It's like the opposite of our club peak. Like we commented that earlier, and just reporting out how tough it is for the offense and how it feels defensively favored. Kind of flipped on its head here. First blood for Formal. Already worked up to the bomb site is Dylan as he'll work to get this down.
And well, like I said, the defense works the flank. That's what Chicago's doing. They have 3 players on their side of the map. London in the middle of a trap right now, and they are losing every single gunfight. Another tough situation for Dylan. 1 versus 5, and this is the Chicago search and destroy that you and I wanted to see.
Yeah, it's not close. I mean, there have been some situations that feel close for a moment, like a 4v3, 5v4, and then it just feels like Huntsmen are quite literally Huntsmen right now. Like they were just hunting down like these remaining 1 to 2 players. Like Dylan's just like, let me out of here, as they're all collapsing on him. This hasn't been pretty for London, but it's been a thing of beauty for the Huntsmen.
Yeah, they just have had no response so far. And that's what's crazy. Chicago, they've been doing it both on offense and defense. And now in the round 5, Chicago on offense again. We'll see what they do. They've thrown some A looks, a lot of B hits. It looks like London's trying to get aggressive through middle.
It just feels like they're playing with some swagger. Like the comms we're not losing to London. Like, fry these guys.
Yeah.
One of the few times Ravens have enjoyed a numbers advantage, and before that sentence finishes for me, Envoy has brought it to a 4-4.
I mean, just look at the map though. Like, look how spread Chicago are. All of London are inside the middle. You almost have like a 2-2 split right now for Chicago, and this might catch London off guard. Arcees, though, the trade is there. He gets taken down. Formal with the sniper. What are you gonna do here? I mean, you picked the wrong door and you're dead. He's trying to get away with his life. On the other side of the map, Gunless gets taken down. Envoy's being hunted. There goes Formal, now in a 1v3 situation for Envoy.
And there, finally, a round on the board for the Royal Ravens, desperately needed, and they're able to answer the call. See the final kill by Waskin. As they slow down the Chicago train.
Are you filling in for Ben? Is that what's going on?
Yes, Joe.
Yeah, you letting all the Chicago people know?
Yeah, I'm bald Ben.
Yeah, I like that.
I think I'd rather be bald than have red hair.
Okay. I don't know. Ben does have some beautiful hair, though.
He does. Oh, Waskin. With a snipe all the way from the back warehouse, just looking for any kind of forest push, but not going to be there. Another first blood for Formal and the Huntsmen.
You see what the Huntsmen are doing. I mean, look, they are about to push out B. I think they are going to counterattack. As you see the smokes go out, the flashes go out, a trophy down. Envoy's going to fly on through. Shawnee does have a trophy set up, and Shawnee's nade is going to work. I like that counter push. It just doesn't work out in their favor for Chicago. Now they have to play a 3v4.
Jerd's worked up the site. There's 3 players. All the Huntsman players are set up here. The fact he can get one is beautiful. It's like the hollow sight of the snipe for Arcees as he hits the shot. Scumped in through the smoke, able to pick up the kill, and suddenly it's a 2v2 with 25 seconds to go, and Bomb is down on the site. Scump needs to win one more, and that's likely the round. He does it there, and now it's old Waskin, who's moved about 15 feet with the sniper since the beginning of this round. Now he's got to go. Just no time to work with.
Yeah, I mean, his play is just set up around the plant. That's why you have the sniper, you know, on that side of the map. Bomb goes down. It is difficult for Chicago to retake it, but Scump makes the play. I think right before Envoy died, he puts a smoke down, banks it off the wall.
Well, I think that
allows Scump to make the play.
And also probably Arcees hitting that snipe kind of frees up that angle for Scump to fly on through and get the kill. It was just a beautiful timing from Huntsman there on the retake to stop that plan.
That player just slid right into Arcees' crosshair. That was just a point and shoot.
One more round needed for Huntsman now. A couple duds from Royal Ravens. Traps 1 and 6, and this is usually a map he's been really solid on, but he'll get his second there. Shawnee, the new guy in the roster, 1 and 6 as well. All around looking pretty good on the other side.
The stats are going to be pretty. Yeah, I don't think the stats are going to be pretty for London with how this map has gone so far.
Well, with 1 round win, yeah.
Yeah.
4v4. Palm plant done for Huntsman, and they'll be able to back it on up. How can Royal Ravens take this retake? Gets it even harder with the snipe in hand. Might have to hit a shot with that deagle, or maybe Envoy wide peeks. He gives him a freebie. He got a kill before he dropped, though, and Formal and Gunless do it on the other end towards mid. Chicago Huntsmen dominate from the get-go, and the hard point, the same can be said of the search and destroy, but they close this one out far more efficiently, Joe.
Yeah, I mean, that was just dominant. I mean, you did not have the pressure being matched from Chicago, and it's surprising to say that because you have players like Dylan and Jerd, Scraps, who can fly on through smokes like we were seeing Envoy and Scump do, and I don't know, man. I don't know if it's something new that Chicago was throwing at them or what, but they just absolutely smoked them on that map.
9-3 from Arcades, and I said, I mean, he had that really rough, what was it, map 5 in their series yesterday. I think he was 3-9. He completely flips that stat line.
I think that was map 2, right?
Yeah. Was it map? I thought it was the map 5 that he was 3-9. Was it
Might have
map
been.
2?
Might have been.
Yeah, I remember when I looked at it. He said one that was really rough, but here he's able to flip it on its head. 9-3 result from him. Statistically, just great stuff there from Huntsmen. And you said, yeah, the tempo, the pace they were playing with, and just so many of those rounds where they quite literally look like hunters. It was a 3-on-1, 4-on-1, and they were just flying for the last player. It was impressive to say the least.
It was just one of those things when we talk about like the steps to a round, right? Like, what do you want to do? Step 1, how do you want to take the bomb? Step 2, and then post plan, or what do we want to do when we get this control? Huntsmen knew exactly what they wanted. They were very comfortable throughout that entire map. It's what you love to see in their decision process.
Very, very comfortable. I'm not sure if it's coming through the mic, but Copper is getting twisted in the background. But that's going to do it for the map 2. 2-0 lead for Huntsmen. It's going to be the Domination coming up next after this quick break. But this is just a series that, I don't know, Huntsmen look like they could close it out 3-0, Joe. They've dominated thus far. Can they get it done? We'll be right back.
Call of Duty League is brought to you by Metro by T-Mobile. Stay connected to what matters most with the best value in wireless.
Rolling it. Boom. What league team is overrated?
I'd say Chicago.
Ooh. Welcome to the Barracks, presented by Metro by T-Mobile. This is an interview series one-on-one with players from the CDL. I'm going to be diving in a little bit to their lifestyle, how they got to the state that they're in right now within the CDL, their teams, how they're able to maintain their top status as a professional gamer. Basically everything CDL.
You have the very first sneak peek at the Barracks presented by Metro and T-Mobile, and this is interesting because our boy Teep, Joe, we're obviously very close to Teep, and he's gonna be doing a show for the CDL. So you're gonna see that, I think, covering each home series event. So you're gonna be talking to some of the pros, and you heard Mox there say he thought Chicago was the most overrated team. How do you feel hearing him say that coming into their own home series event, Joe?
That's strong word. I mean, 2-0 against him, right? He's very confident, and so I don't know about that, but I love the confidence.
And I think it's Wednesday at 9 a.m. Pacific is when you'll be able to watch that. I think this Wednesday, following the event, is when you're going to be able to see the full episodes. That was just a quick sneak peek of it. But I do want to take a look now at our U.S. Army tactical play from the map 2 before we get ready for the domination. As, wow, I mean, that was just all Huntsmen. No other way to put it, Joe.
Yeah, I mean, they just were absolute beasts on the map. They knew exactly what they wanted to do. You just pick any of their round wins, and it just felt very easy. For the London Royal Ravens, you're down 0-2. It's going to be tough to get back into this one.
It is. I mean, think about it. It's like I don't know which is tougher to swallow. You have the map 1 where, you could have won. You lose by a couple of points. It's a crazy game where you battle back from a 100-point deficit. Then the map 2, you get uppercut, knocked unconscious, laid out on the mat. They've lost in 2 very different ways, but the end result the same. It's 2 map losses for London. Yeah, you said, how do you bounce back? I don't know, Joe. And you go back to Petro.
I have some other bad news as well. Dom Petro, 1-2 for London, 3-1 for Chicago. So
one of those is better than the other, Joe.
I will say, though, all 3 losses on this map for both teams are to Florida. So 0-2 for London and 0-1 for Chicago.
London's probably, yeah.
So,
I mean, they're the most impressive team we've casted here, right? Like, they've had some...
Florida? Yeah.
Florida have been nuts. Really just in respawns in general lately, but especially Dom here. And Huntsmen are all over the map right now. You've got 2 at C, 1 towards B. Envoy then pushing back towards A. Spawns were a little bit sporadic, but I mean, London has them spawning where they want them. They're spawning down towards the first hard point and trying to find something anywhere. I mean, B hasn't been capped yet. The only flag really firmly in control right now is going to be London on A.
Yeah, it's almost like you don't even... Yeah, I like that. I was going to say, Dylan, just get off B. Just help your teammates. You don't even need B right now. You have 2 flags. You're the team getting all the points. Don't worry about finish it. If the push is at C, help your teammates right now. That's exactly what he does. Now that Huntsmen have control at C, they're going to... London Royal Ravens going to hop on B, so you have the AB set up right now. But RC's already going for this neutral. Dylan's ready for it. But there is the trade. But it's still a great start for London.
And Gunless is just trying to figure out where he spawned. He guesses wrong. Easy kill for Scraps to clear them off their home flag. And then you still have 2 players kind of near restaurant in the mid-tracks. You have 1 pushed up in hazmat, which is Jur, to still apply pressure to the home cap of Huntsmen. Royal Ravens in a great spot. By that number 5 you see on the map now is Gunless spawning over towards A. The pressure towards C for London Royal Ravens spawns out multiple player from Huntsmen. And this is going to be a flip. The question is what happens towards A. Ooh, maybe it's not going to be a flip.
I mean, it's a flip, but this might turn into a 3 cap. Yeah, I mean, he almost finishes at A, but you have another situation where 2 flags are capped for London. They have the C flag. That's a preferred flag that you want on this map. And another great start now with this lead up to, what, 25 points. So beautifully done by London.
Yeah, I didn't word that right. It's definitely a flip. The question was, I didn't think Huntsmen were going to get A back for a second there. Is what was going to be problematic. But there's only 17 points on the board for Huntsmen in 2.5 minutes of this side. They have had so much trouble getting anything going. Royal Ravens will be able to clear out B. They're losing C, though, right now as Envoy's got into position, and rallying over to help him is going to be Gunless. Spawning bottom is Royal Ravens. It's probably the best moment for the Huntsmen to get some clean control here within this game. They've got to go big here.
But I love the play from London. 4 of their players back up. Dylan deals with B. He's winning his gunfight. So it feels like the opportunity was there for Chicago to, you know, maybe get them in a bit of a spawn trap, have A and C with a neutral at B like we saw at the beginning of this round. But London, they're able to deal with it.
Huntsmen are down big. They are down big after taking the first 2 maps. London Royal Ravens finally getting something going, but Huntsmen, if they're going to mount the comeback in this first half, it's got to start over this next minute and 40 seconds. So let's go right to it. Astro Gaming, listen in with your Chicago Huntsmen.
Oppressive weak. Deep tracks weak. Oppressive still. Bottom Ressy's right now.
Got me. I need line.
You push up bottom Ressy, guys.
We need to work together.
Work together, guys.
Watch me line. Debuff middle. Left middle dead.
Nice line, last guy, line was
Yeah,
guy.
look, I don't see line. Nothing line. I'm going through C.
Yo,
Going through C.
yeah, I'm getting
Line weak, bro. He's still front
Arch,
elbow,
line.
still front elbow. Yep,
Line
that's good
dead.
job.
Yo, CDL
River.
They pinch bar, guys. They pinch bar.
River dead.
Good
Nice.
too.
One more.
Blue
Blue
down a lot.
dump.
I'm gonna work
Gate
back
right now,
Gonna work
gate.
back here,
Yeah,
guys.
Shawnee to see. Shawnee to see.
8, one shot. He's top resty. Top resty.
We're spawning
I'll
back
look
base
up
still,
rest.
brothers.
Within rail speaking.
Still 29.
Oh,
Jump
rest
out,
down.
jump out.
Behind you back door.
Looking back door. I don't see him.
Yo, he's on A on me. Johnny.
Listen,
Johnny.
Absolute on A. Absolute on A.
Going to A.
Just smoked up middle.
fucking
One's gonna be
peeks
top
it,
hat.
dude. You
Hey, dead.
Hey, dead.
Top Resi. Top Resi got me.
Yeah, burger read.
Grab.
Spawning
I'm pretty sure
arch.
one's over
Top
shoot too.
Resi. He's gonna
I'm
close the
L
window.
right now.
Alright, we gotta try to get trip
I'm
cap
trying
right
the
now.
window.
Lion hurt.
Wait, river.
I don't see
I'm
scrap
trying to get River right now.
Look him in
They're
trash.
just
One
playing their
River
lives.
right now. He's
They're
empty.
literally just hiding. They're
Just
literally
close the
hiding.
doors. Going top hat.
Guys.
Top Resi.
Top rest
spawned
drop,
out.
bro.
I
He's
spawned
just
you
camping
one,
in the
guys.
corner, top rest. He's
Bottom,
scraps.
elbow.
Still top
He's
Resi.
jumped
spawned
out
back
top
in.
resty.
Got him.
Dylan's like
They're on-
dumped.
they're going
I'm
at. They're going
seeing
at.
up
They're
there.
going
One still
Yes.
C.
Run it back up there.
I got
Run
one
it back
spawn
up there.
on
Help
A.
you.
Got
I'm
fucking
coming
nailed.
down.
Dead.
Don't have two.
Good job, big one, big one, big one.
Eight on
Also
me.
take
Eight,
it.
one
Also
shot.
take it.
Eight dead.
Dead.
Kill that guy,
Gate,
Good job.
gate, gate,
Perfect.
gate.
4.
Track spawns.
On C.
I've up here. There you go.
Alright, we just gotta work together more,
I
bro.
feel like
We have
Huntsman
one. We're
gets smoked in that first half. 105
I was
points on the
holding
board.
I
Poor
said
London.
my
I
boost
still
like
like
think
that.
we're still getting their
Like
comms.
the
They're kind of
last
arguing
minute,
through it.
He was just top restaurant, just having a blast with a knife out, man. Scraps was just taking it to him. But yeah, you heard some frustrations there for Chicago. You heard RC say we need a 3 cap here, but yeah, a massive lead for London.
What was the swing we saw earlier today with FaZe? 60?
Yeah, but they were down what, like
No, they were down
25
20, but the
points?
swing itself was 60, right?
Yeah.
And that was basically a 2 cap the entire half.
Yes. So I mean, you're spawning at C, which is good for Chicago.
So
but-
I'm wondering, you ready for map 4, Joe?
Yeah. Let me take a look. Let's see. Let's take a look at map 4. It'd be Cave Hardpoint. So our claw, you know, not our claw, Azure Cave. London 3-1, but Chicago 4-0.
Okay, so a good map for both. That's kind of what you said, I think, heading into the series.
Yeah, there's a lot of good maps for both of these teams.
Are you surprised just
We've just seen a lot of knives.
with the stat disparity coming into this, and Chicago seemingly the better team at this map? What a blowout that first half was.
Well, I think it just spiraled out of control really the first like 90 seconds when we saw the trap that Chicago was put in, and just from that point, the slaying was all one-sided for London. They looked comfortable. You know, we talk about like when you're spawning in certain places, what do you want to do on the map? And it felt like London was just a step ahead. But then when we take a look at the scoreboard, I mean, Straps is just having fun. He's been in this top window, I think, for like 4 minutes overall. And on the other side, Chicago, they are just getting knifed constantly, and most of them are, all of them are negative. They are just being shredded by the Twins.
I think they know how absurd it would be for Huntsman to come back in this, so they're going to set a record for domination knife kills. Is now what the Twins are going for.
There's going to be a horror movie about this map in a few years, yeah.
What was that one with
About
Johnny
the
Depp?
Twins.
It was like the music one. It was like the Demon Barber or whatever.
Oh, no idea, but I have an idea, but I don't know the name.
Yeah, I just remember him like knifing people.
Yeah, that's basically what the...
I don't know why my brain
Twins
went
are
to
doing
that
right now.
film. I have no idea, but that's where it went.
No clue.
Oh man.
At first, I was thinking Edward Scissorhands. But
Yeah, that's a great film too, where he also
a
chops
great
stuff.
one.
Yeah, what is it with Johnny Depp and Scissors and Nuts? I don't know, but see if the Twins can get any more going there. But it's 19-7 now for Scraps. He's on 5 in a row.
I think this one's done, Clint.
Yeah,
Thoughts?
I wanna. This is my official vote to have map 3 end when it's mathematically impossible, like it is right now.
Yeah.
I'm putting my
Or like
official
official
request is the
a surrender
commissioner
option or something.
Yeah, like StarCraft, bro.
option?
GG, we're done.
We're done. Leave the game. I'm out of here. A StarCraft. Yeah. You just vote to surrender.
Yep.
We're out of here.
Huntsman's still gonna give it their all, but it's just
I don't think they
not
are
a
actually.
not
no.
a thing they can do.
I think you just lied to the people.
Well, Joe, I am known to be a liar.
Well, that's not good.
No, I'm kidding.
That's not good.
I don't know why I said that, Joe. I take it back.
I was gonna say that's not good at all. Why do you want to be known as that? You seemed like proud of that.
No, I'm not. I swear. Huntsman finally getting a little bit of pressure towards B, but the deficit approaching 100 points in this Dom. And there just hasn't been a lot to highlight in the second half, just because it was basically put out of reach in the first side. And you broke down how Royal Ravens were able to do that.
Oh, chat's telling Sweeney Todd.
Sweeney Todd, that's what it was. That's what it was.
Chat's got me. Yeah.
That movie was crazy, dude. He was just cutting people up.
I didn't watch it. I have no idea. I got no clue.
Yeah, all right, we'll watch it together after this event so you can understand my references. And since I'm so old, I don't have like current pop culture references. I just refer to movies like 20 years ago.
You watch movies like every day of the week. You definitely have pop culture references.
You're not wrong, Joe. I'm not good at many things, but I'm good at watching films.
Films and playing games, huh, Clint?
Yes, that's all I can do, buddy.
Yep.
What a weird, like, just a weird series it's been so far. That like, that nail biting map 1, right? The nail biting map 1, even though it's an 80-point lead for Huntsman, and the map 2 is a blowout. You think just with the way Huntsman are playing and the confidence still on the map 2 and their map record here that this is just going to be a Huntsman hot 3-0. And then it ends up being one of the more lopsided Doms we've seen this year is Royal Ravens.
This was like, what was it, the final, right? With Florida in Minnesota, where it was just this bad. It felt like it was over once the second half got underway. I mean, it was just a dominant performance from the London Royal Ravens.
Well, the question before it was, how do they answer back? Well, they shout back as they just completely dominate. 25 and 12 from Scraps. Yeah, double positive for him. His twin brother Waskin in the same stratosphere as well, as he goes 22 and 12. Just terrific stuff for the Royal Ravens. And maybe that's exactly how you brush off a tough map 1 loss and a blowout map 2. You just come out like that, get yourself some momentum, some fuel as you're getting ready to head into the hard point. That's all you can do.
Yeah.
That's the most convincing way to do it.
I mean, we just came back from that, and on our monitor, we come back to the player cams, and I just saw Scraps laughing. I think he was having a blast that one. 25 and 12 for him. As we take a look at the stats, I think probably about 5 or 6 of those are all with a knife as well inside a restaurant. The guy was just having the time of his life.
Oh, yeah, no, he was having fun. That reminded me of what you saw like when we went to FaZe a couple times, and the FaZe guys were all kind of giggling and laughing as they were doing it. But for Huntsman, you gotta, now it's your turn to answer back, right? And who's been the key player, like the superstar, the consistent force for this team most of the year? I think you could argue it's been Envoy. I want to take a closer look at him as a player.
Envoy find 2, Envoy find 3. If we're talking league's elite, Envoy is right at the top.
That's 5 in a row, 6 in a row.
Envoy, man, he's a monster.
He is absolutely one of the best players in the world.
It's 7. Now for the Wonder Kid, and Envoy is picking one more.
If Envoy finds an opening, he's going to punish you for it.
Keep pushing him, he'll keep shutting you down.
That brain is getting him more kills than his thumbs are right now, and that's a more dangerous trait.
There's 4 in the round. Can he find an ace? The man deserves it. Should try and feed it to him as Luca gets 2. There it is. Envoy with 5. That is a complete and utter takeover.
Envoy's like the new guy, right? He had his breakout year last year, but he could be the best player on the team.
Envoy brought in this hunger, this desire. That's kind of rubbed off on a lot of those players.
He was able to team with some veterans, and I think that learning from these guys really has brought the best out of Envoy.
Envoy's timing is exquisite. He hits the flank, and he goes on to kill everyone.
If Envoy isn't playing well, the Chicago Huntsmen don't get to a top 4. They may not get to a grand final in London.
Envoy is keeping everyone in check in that regard.
The nade from Envoy. Here it is. I'm so glad we get to see this. Look at the Kobe onto the site. What a nade that is.
Is he the MVP for the Chicago Huntsmen? I would say yes.
This guy's making the right play 10 out of 10 times.
Yes, he is definitely their MVP when it comes to search and destroy.
I mean, if you're talking search gens, there's only one person on the Huntsman that we're even gonna mention.
Climb on in the backpack, and you let Envoy do whatever he wants.
It has to be Envoy. He was incredible.
It feels like Envoy's always in the right place at the right time.
And he doesn't have a huge ego.
Envoy, time and time again.
He just has every trait that you want in a pro player.
And not many people can do that.
He has been an absolute force to be reckoned with.
Envoy can bring it in any single game mode at any given time from start to finish. That's Envoy. He is special.
Envoy has just been tearing it up.
It's time to get ready for the map 4, and it's going to be Azir Cave. When I think about this map, at least most recently for Huntsmen, I know over the course of the year, maybe you say it's a solid map for them, but this is the one where I think their frustrations, like in RC's tweet, kind of stem from when you take a look a couple weeks back, because they lost it to Florida, right? And that's the one where Havoc was out rotating them. The rotation looked really off for Huntsmen. It didn't feel like they were just playing the map properly. They weren't on the same page, and that map kind of epitomized their frustrations for me. So I would think over the last 2 weeks, this would be a point of improvement for them.
Yeah, it's just something your team is focusing on, right? Just not leaving it up to somebody like Envoy. Everybody has to be on top of it. The comms have to be on point. And I think for the London side, you know, we talked about Wuskin and how good he's been this year. Map 1, it's hard to contribute as an AR on St. Petrograd, Hardpoint. Much different story here on Azir Cave.
We'll see what kind of impact he'll have on this map. But here we go, knife out for Scraps again. We'll see if he can put it to use on this map. Probably a little bit trickier, but we'll see what he can do. Royal Ravens trying to push for the reverse sweep as they get the dominant Game 3 win. Huntsmen will rally over to the hard point, but for the most part, we want to focus on the top right of your screen. The deep right pocket is the most important part of the next 40 or so seconds, is getting spawns for that right side of the cave.
Yeah, I think that's what Formal is just trying to open up a lane. You see Scump now trying to work through. Maybe he'll be the first guy to push in as 3 go down for the London Royal Ravens. Well, Chicago, they're just going to take this time. I mean, why not, right? It's so hard to break the spawns and flip them. It's typically what we talk about is like a 5-man down when that happens, so they're just going to take all the time they can.
Yeah, it's like that, or somebody somehow sneaking through the back. It's all that can really get it done, but yeah, look how far out Huntsmen are spawning from the next hard point, like all the way at the bottom left of the map. Envoy may be the one that make the play, but Shawnee's tucked away in a corner. It's a great read from Envoy. He's able to peek the edge, and now he's gotten through. Smoke out to hit the cross. Lovely from Envoy, but he's the only man here. He's not going to have any help for the foreseeable future, and unfortunately for him, Shawnee, who he killed in transition, spawns all the way in the back. His teammates are going to spawn on him. Envoy will be able to get in the hard point, at least make it scrappy early. Can they get it done?
I mean, this is already a good enough job. You've already taken 20 seconds off, right? London had those spawns. Now all the kills are coming in. And now this sort of flips on its head where London's trying to push through the middle side of the cave. The spawns flip Chicago. It's Envoy once again. He's able to make that play. He wins the one-on-one. He smokes off their tunnel and just stays alive. The reinforcements are there. And wow, 2 hills in a row as Envoy now 6 kills in a row at 9-4, and such a big rotation play out of him.
Yeah, it's a great play from Envoy, but on the flip of that, I feel like that's just got to be a kill for Shawnee. Like, you're in that position tucked away for that exact play, right? For that cave push topside, and I don't know if he got an awkward timing or if Envoy heard a step. It's just, for me, feels like a kill Shawnee needed to get, and then things might go very differently.
Well, I think Shawnee's probably playing for the audio, right? And I think Envoy had Deddy pop, so he's able to make the play.
Maybe that's just all it comes down to then. 60-point lead now for Huntsmen, gunless. Nice little snap onto the second player. I think I see Slacked in the lobby somehow on the Ravens side, which I'm not sure how that happened. But it's not a 6v5 for those of you at home, and now Slack's gone. Bye, Slack.
He's probably getting ready for the next game, right?
Yeah,
I think they're playing next or later on, but Yeah, he's out of here. As I mean, Chicago, even at soccer field, able to break the setup, and it reminds me a lot of early on in game 1, what Chicago was able to do in the lead that they had. So we're gonna focus now on Cave West. London are here early. Yeah, Scraps all the way up towards middle of Cave. Scump though, he's gonna drop through the well. He's able to take down Shawnee, and once again, this just disrupt this setup. But Scraps is there. Scraps is gonna find 3. Finally, some time earned for the London Royal Ravens.
Yeah, I think Scraps bails them out of what could have got a little bit messy early into the hard point again. Scrap goes huge. Everything utility-wise being thrown at him as he tries to back up. Scump will take him out, but also takes Envoy down on his side with it. A nice hold thus far for Ravens, and I think a much-needed one, considering what the scoreline could have looked like if Huntsman got an early break. Ravens getting right back into it. It's similar to the map 1. Down early, down big, got the battle back.
And now you can tell how much Chicago is focusing on this rotation. You have 3 players all the way towards the back. Envoy's worked up towards that front broken area. He takes down 2. Dylan and Scraps, we'll see you later. That is going to give them so much room to work with. Look at the white arrows, how far they are from the cliff path. Number 9, Jerd just spawns up middle cave. Okay, so Formal was watching it, thank goodness. Because if Formal's not watching that and he thinks someone has middle cave, that could have been a freebie for London, but oof.
Yeah, I think maybe just because of how far pushed up those 2 players were. I mean, it just looked weird on the minimap because he spawned in a sea of green, basically. But, yeah, as you said, thankfully, Formal had the angle. Otherwise, maybe he finds a lucky timing and gets in.
Yeah, still, yeah, that was a weird one. Scump through the flank on Spiral, trying to deal with Dylan. They just, those things didn't happen, Clint, you know? But hey, let's get serious and focus on this.
Absolutely, Joe. It's a game of surprises. And as the Royal Ravens surprise the Huntsmen by getting in through that bridge side, disrupt at least some of the time and keep it within approximately 50 points. Dylan, snap it. Dylan takes down 3 before finally they're able to trade it out. Not going to matter much in the scheme of things. If anything, it just delays Huntsman in getting towards mid-map, but the hard point only had about 5 seconds left on it. It does allow his teammates to get in better position, at least to control this, but ultimately, if you're Ravens, you need to get this time and you need to work on the flip.
Yeah, and I mean, you see the way Formal's playing this right now. He's playing very slow, just trying to make sure his team still has his spawn for that next hill at Cave East. I will say Chicago, the way they played that, they've given up about, 20-30 seconds already. Scump finally gets inside of yellow, able to take down Luskin on the hill.
Well, I'd say with how this particular hardpoint coming up has gone for them recently, I almost agree with just giving up some time here, contest what you can, but then make sure you lock it down. Now, that's true. But if they don't lock it down, then you can throw everything I'm saying out the window. But they've struggled so much with that rotation. I guess I'm not surprised to see them putting that much emphasis on it.
Yeah, that was about 50, 55 points.
They really get that much, dear God.
Yeah. It was like 132 to 82 or something, I think, when we went to the middle hill. And now it was London who had a 1-point lead. But we go to Cave East and Chicago. They have to make this rotation pay off. Scump's locking down middle Cave. Yeah, Formal all the way in the back. He has to deal with a few players, but most of the push coming right towards the online.
It's all about the ROI, Joe. The return on the investment. They invested a lot into this rotation. Now they need to get all the points, but Dylan is bursted on through. It's a double from him already. Huntsman players cleared out of the hard point. They got 20 or so uncontested before it gets a little bit sloppy with the Royal Ravens punching through that setup. But for the most part, when it's all said and done, it's about, what, 40 or so points they're going to get? Do you take that considering how much you put into it?
I mean, you kind of have to. I think you just have to. I think they would have liked to done something towards Middle Hill. I think that's why Scump got a little bit aggressive, but what we talked about where that's just been their weakness. I think it's their focal point right now, just to make sure they lock those up.
And I think, you know, that at the end of that outpost hard point with Dylan getting that triple, it just made it so hard, right? They were all still spawning so deep. There was no one really in a position to put an early contest towards mid, so they just kind of chalked it.
Now over towards soccer field. Dylan trying to get aggressive through the smoke, and he's going to find Gunless, give him a nice pat on the back, smack his button. Well, he goes right back towards RCs and takes him down. Some nice plays from Dylan. London's going to earn some time here. Now a 15-point game. It's just been back and forth throughout this map.
Formal soars on through. Good enough to get him out of the hard point for a moment. Jared holding the high ground will rally into the point. 5 seconds left, but now look at the mini-map. The number 2 RC's all the way tucked away in cave. Scump trying to get to him as quickly as possible and get set up. You're going to have basically everybody here from Huntsman, but Wuskin is beaming him with that M4. Shawnee, M4 of his own, will follow it up, and Royal Ravens are here early, Joe.
Nah, I mean, just look at the ARs, right? I mean, both Formal and RCs are like 17 and 17, 15 and 14. You can tell that they're trying to slow down a little bit to just make sure they have the correct spawns that the team wants. Because on the other side, I mean, Weston's still playing pretty darn aggressive. But London, they're able to deal with this. Now Shawnee on a 5 spree. Locking things down with the M4. They now have a 20-point lead. Ooh. Shawnee not missing right now. Starting to go off. Is his M4 on point?
Yeah, those shots were lovely out of Shawnee. You see why he has been a great addition to this squad. 40 more points needed for Ravens to close this out. Huntsman on the brink of this getting to a map 5. Formal needs to go huge from this back outpost, able to stay up after getting one of the picks. Right over to his duo and Scump, who tries to hold it at mid cave, but can't ultimately do it. But it's a great hold at outpost so far for the Chicago Huntsmen. But now behind the smokes, here comes the next surge from the Ravens.
Yeah, Twins able to find some kills, but I mean, with those close spawns, the Chicago players are just going to spawn up and toss the nades over, right? When you're just pushing down this path, it is so difficult to get through. We saw Dylan do it last time, but that took, what, 3-4 kills in a row from him. Envoy now getting aggressive middle of the map. 32 and 25 from Envoy with an MP5 on cave. We do not see that every day. So he just finishes another 5 spree. Arcitys, he's going to get the rest of this time. Gonna put them at about 230.
Yeah, you had
Gunless goes all the way around, and now he's trying to flank this middle hill.
We just got to make sure he doesn't somehow flip these spawns too badly. I know they can win it on Town Center if they get the kills.
Yeah.
It looks like they want to go for the win, but if you risk flipping this and not getting the time, it could prove detrimental in the end of it. And now look at the position of number 9, Jerd and them inside a cave. Jerd's going to be flashing back to hold it, and he's going to spawn scraps on him. I feel like you need to win this now if you're Huntsman, because Gunless on that pinch. Look at the spawns now. Huntsmen are spawning out. They only need 8 more points to close it out, but there's only 30 seconds remaining on the hard point. Is this going to end up costing them, Joe?
Yeah, it might. I mean, they got to go now. RC's and Gunless, they find the kills. Dylan is still here. They got to take him down. They got to take him down now. They need every single second besides 2 to close this game out. London, are they in a position to do so? Envoy plays through middle. Envoy again with 3 kills. Are they going to get the tick? That is the question. That is the question right now.
They got it. They got it.
They got the tick.
If they don't get that tick, Joe, I don't know. That might have been wild if they don't get that final point. Oh my God, I was so worried that flip was going to cost them, and it was going to be another blunder on cave, but the final point goes through. They close it out at Town Center, and Huntsmen are able to take the series. That was almost very, very, very interesting.
It was close. You called it, right? With Gunless going all the way around, the spawns flip.
They had to win it there. They had to.
Yeah, they had to win it there, right? The spawns were at KV's
Let's go. He's just cracking
right now, but I mean, Weston gets on it. And yeah, it's Envoy who finds an opening again. Gets 3 kills. 39 and 28 from Envoy.
That is just a brilliant performance out of him, and a big win for Huntsmen to kind of rebound within this tournament weekend for their own home series. They lose this, what a disappointing performance it is. I mean, just considering, I know we're not live from Chicago. I know things have changed, but there's still a sense of pride there. You got to think it's their home series event. It's one where they want to come out champions. They know that FaZe were able to win their home series event. I'm sure they'd like to replicate the same. And whew, what a tight, I mean, the hard points were crazy. It was what, like 250, 248, 250, 235 as you look through the stats on that one, but you pegged it. Envoy, monster map.
Yeah, it's just what can this guy not do? I mean, he has another big performance in Chicago. They'll have another match later, so they'll have that rematch versus the New York Subliners. I know they are very much going to be looking forward towards that. I'm sure they feel, they could have had it last night if they play a little bit better in maps number 1 and 2. So I can't wait to watch that rematch. That should be a good one.
Yeah, no, I'm looking forward to that one massively. Can they learn from their mistakes? I mean, they were pretty vocal on Twitter, a couple of them, just with the struggles they were having. Can they turn it around and just look at the little things? It'll be interesting to see what maps change from that first best of 5 into the next one, because as you mentioned, there were a lot of close maps, a lot of close moments.
Yeah, you might see a lot of the same maps. Probably not Ramaz S&D again, though. I will have to say that. I imagine they make maybe a bit of a veto change in that one, but we'll have to see what happens.
Oh God, Huntsman, and I kind of said I tweeted during the OpTic series, I thought if OpTic lost that, I thought more than likely we wouldn't see that OpTic lineup again, and I was worried if Huntsman lost this that maybe that'd be the case. I wasn't sure. I mean, good chance they would have stuck together regardless, but I just had this fear, man, with 3, if it was 3 disappointing performances in a row, what might happen. But now we can at least put that to bed, is they're able to win this series, but they still, as you mentioned, another match to win before they can actually move into the semifinal. And once you get through that, I mean, you still have your 2 biggest threats in FaZe and Empire already waiting in the semi. It just feels like
you get out today, it's a different. You're gonna hit a new level tomorrow, right? Like,
true,
I don't know, like right, like you're just gonna be so fired up to play those guys, right? We always know about those rivalries. I mean, that'll be fun if Chicago play, Empire. It doesn't matter what the matches are tomorrow. They should be insane.
Yeah, it's shaping up for being one of our better semifinal rounds. I mean, I know we've had a ton of crazy performances, but just from a talent perspective, when you think about the 3 top teams in the game might be there, who will be that 4th to join them if Huntsmen get through? That remains to be seen. But Surge might do it. I was thinking about this, like Surge, they've got 30 points, and
your pick's out. Let's go.
That's true. My pick is out. Optics stink. But no, for Seattle, like, they have 30 points. All 30 come from the Guerrillas. They might get their 40.
Could have 40.
They might get 40 all from Guerrillas. They might get to their first semifinal through Guerrillas. So if there is, there's death taxes and Seattle beat the Guerrillas.
We'll see. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. The Guerrillas looked a lot better today than what we saw yesterday.
Very true. So you don't think that's as much, even though they beat them 3 times, you don't see that being very straightforward?
I mean, is anything straightforward with the Seattle Surge? I don't know. Like, no. they did play really well yesterday, and it seemed like they improved. But again, it's that conversation of how much have they improved, because they've only beaten the Guerrillas. And it is hard to beat a team over and over again. Like, those teams are going to make adjustments. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah, I mean, that said, how many times have you heard that? And I know we talk about it in COD, but like in major sports, like, it's difficult to beat a team 3 times a year. Like, you're talking about basketball or baseball. Like, it's hard to beat them over and over and over and over and over again, because one might be working harder to improve because they keep losing. They're able to work on those mistakes. You would think there'd be something there. And, there's, I think we're a solid coaching staff, you would think, on the side of Guerrillas. So hopefully they'll be very, very, very prepared for this match. But it's just not an easy thing to prepare for when you have Octane. You don't prepare for Octane. Not much you can do there.
Slack played great yesterday. Their Surge looked better. Even Apathy. I know they lost earlier today, but it just feels like a lot of the key players they needed to step up did step up.
I'm just thinking of the series in LA where Octane just slapped them. He dropped like 50 on the map. Like, he just completely dominated that. But yes, to your point, it has been a more well-rounded Surge. At least it's looked that way. But we'll update you kind of where we sit with the schedule. We're 4 matches in, 2 matches left to go. Surge versus Guerrillas up next. What a day it has been so far. But I believe coming up next after this quick break is going to be an interview with Envoy, kind of hear his thoughts on how everything went down. Huntsmen get the win. It was a wild series. We'll be right back after this break.